Hi, this is Urban Breed of Sirius Black. You're listening to According to Metal.
It's time for new metal album reviews.
That was I Got What You Want. You should know the sound of those guys by now. If you don't, shame on you. That is Steel Panther. Off their latest album, Lower the Bar. Of course, this is the second review we've done from Steel Panther. The first one we did was live from Lexi's mom's garage, which was kind of a culmination of all the stuff they've done, but just acoustically, and was done really well, in fact, and really surprisingly for, a metal band such as Steel Panther to do stuff acoustically, and it turned out really well. But this is new stuff, new material, and really excited to review these guys. I am a huge fan of these guys. I have every album they've ever done. I'll never forget listening to Feel the Steel for the first time and playing it for my friend Elliot, and his reaction to the lyrics and the song was of such laughter that it made me laugh to the point where I almost had to pull the car over. We're like driving through downtown Chicago traffic. It was absolutely hilarious. But you have Michael Starr, you have Satchel, you have Lexi Fox. Of course, Lexi Fox is with 3 X's, and of course the great drummer behind the kit, Mr. Sticks It In Ya, are back with the most recent album of theirs. And this is by the way, on a side note, Biv, before we get into your thoughts about Lower the Bar, this is a bucket list live band to go see. Their recorded stuff is great, and we'll get into Lower the Bar here soon, but I've said this before and I'll say it again. You'll like them recorded. Their albums are great. Live, they're incredible. I mean, they are really good. They're great with the crowd. It's almost like seeing a stand-up comedy show with a great metal band being part of the show. Great band to see live. If they come around, make sure you check them out because they're incredibly good. But, of course, on their more recent tours, and they're touring all over the place in support of Lower the Bar, and they should, because it's a hell of an album. I got my thoughts and opinions on it, but Biv, you and I go back quite a ways with Steel Panther. What did you think of Lower the Bar?
Well, you go back further than I do, because I remember when it came out, and you were a big fan of Feel the Steel, and I kind of just blew them off as a joke. And I think part of that was because I was around for the glory days of the hair metal, and so, I just kind of blew it off, whatever. And, yeah, they were musically talented, but I just didn't pay them much credence at all. But as time has gone on, I've warmed up to them considerably, and I love the lyrics, of course, but I have to tell you what's really blown me away, no pun intended, was the musicianship on this CD is phenomenal.
These guys are great, man. Don't just write them off as a comedy metal band. They're funny as hell, and they're dirty and raunchy. These guys have chops, man.
Well, they do, but even besides the dirtiness and raunchiness, if you just sort of take their music and put, and have, normal metal lyrics to it, they'd be huge.
Oh, sure.
But just the fact that they don't take anything seriously, they have a lot of fun. Lexi's Mom's Garage was a good CD. But this one, man, any CD that you start off with, a song like Going in the Back Door, I mean, if that doesn't sound like a good time, I don't know what does. So, of course, you've got the single Poontang Boomerang, which, if you've not seen the video, is hilarious.
It's very good.
That's When You Came In, which was originally on Lexi's Mom's Garage, if I'm not mistaken, now you're a bigger fan than I am, was never released prior to that.
No, that was a song. They're like, hey, we're going to play a song for you we've never done before. So obviously there's a song they written, but they did it on Lexi's Mom's Garage. But now they have the album version of it,
right.
And it's great, and it's very tongue in cheek. That's when you came in and blew me.
Yeah.
It's great. Of course, I don't sing nearly as good as Michael Starr, but you get the point.
Right. Now the Fun Starts might be musically my favorite Steel Panther song ever.
Really? We'll talk about that here in a second. That's interesting you say that.
I Got What You Want, which we just played a minute ago. The opening is very Priest-like, but then it goes into this Poison S style kind of chorus.
Oh yeah.
Which is big hooks. I really dig it. Now I want to talk about your bookend rule a little bit. You always say start strong, finish strong. She's Tight has like this punk feel.
Well, it's a Cheap Trick cover, so that's why.
Yeah, but it just, why would you put that as? I mean, I understand it is a bonus track. Am I correct?
No, it's part of the album. It's part of the album, to my knowledge.
That's just a bad way to finish it, I think. I think you started off so strong with going in the back door.
Yeah.
I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah, I just So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on it. I do want to bring this up. As of this recording, do you know that this album is number 2 on the hard rock charts here in the U.S., their highest ranking ever, and number 5 on the rock charts in the U.S.?
It doesn't surprise me.
So
they've really worked their ass off, and they do have quite a following. By a lot of celebrities really love these guys. When these guys perform in Vegas and in Hollywood, which is they tour, but even when they're not touring, they do a lot of shows kind of in California and Vegas. I mean, it's very common. I mean, there's you can YouTube this. I mean, you'll kind of laugh your ass off. I mean, Kelly Clarkson or Avril Lavigne. Or just Justin Hawkins from The Darkness. I mean, you never know who's going to show up to a Steel Panther concert, and they'll just have him come up on the stage and just start singing. They don't give a shit. So they have a lot of connection with a lot of celebrities. That I don't think that they proactively did. It's just they kind of attracted people to their sound and just kind of their show, if you will. Because again, especially live, they're a live band. They're a great band. They're a metal band. They're a hard rock, 80s style band, but they're a hell of a show live. And when you're looking at Lower the Bar, speaking of that, I mean, they don't stray very far away from kind of their formula. It's an 80s style rock and metal. And it's really something that I think, in my opinion, they've kind of perfected at this point. Michael Starr has so many David Lee Roth-like vocals all throughout the album, but way better than David Lee Roth, especially nowadays. Satchel, of course, the lead guitar player, just rips on guitar. Lexi and Styx hold it down in the rhythm section. And when you got songs like in the past, like Gang Bang at the Old Folks Home and Asian Hooker, songs off of Lower the Bar, like Going in the Back Door and Poontang Boomerang, obviously make total sense. I mean, it's if you weren't a fan, you won't be. If you were a fan, you will continue to be, based on this. And so, Going in the Back Door, like you said before, kicks off the album. Great track, great way to start off the album. Anything Goes, by the way, is before Poontang Boomerang, another really fun song too.
And very David Lee Roth.
Oh, totally. That's When You Came In. Balladish, very Community Property-like, if you're an old-time Steel Panther fan from Feel the Steel, kind of that balladish sound, if you will. Really dig that song. On the Wrong Side of Tracks of Beverly Hills, by the way, is a very good song for me, and it's very different. And it actually has my favorite lyrics on the album. And I'm going to read these because I laugh out loud every single time I hear them. I got a 20-year-old wife and she's easy to please, but she made me throw away my Dawkins CDs. I got surround sound going through the whole damn house and some Dawkins getting cranked as soon as I figure the Bluetooth out. That's fucking hilarious to me. And, just my favorite lyrics on the album. And not dirty at all, but it's just, I can imagine a 20-year-old chick making Michael Starr throw out his Dawkins CDs. To me, it just makes me laugh. It's funny you mentioned Now the Fun Starts is a song that you really like. To me, it was the only disappointment on the album.
I felt that way about the other side of the tracks.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think they try to sound Bon Jovi here. And I just think it's a miss. It's not bad. It's just skippable to me. Pussy Ain't Free. Again, not trying to be dirty. That's the name of the song. It's great. Wasted Too Much Time. It's very Poison balladish. Very well done. I Got What You Want, which we just played for you a little bit ago, is so damn good. And funniest, one of the funniest ways to end a song I've ever heard. Like, go back and listen to the last 30 seconds of I've Got What You Want, and you'll almost have to listen to it a couple times and go, wait a minute, did he just say what I thought he just said? It's my challenge to you, according to Metalheads. If you haven't listened, go listen to that track and listen to the last 30 seconds. It's damn hilarious. Walk of Shame, very bluesy, very Poisonish to me also. And then again, anyway, She's Tight, which I guess that's a fair point, Biv. I mean, it's probably not the best bookend to have there, but it's a Cheap Trick cover. Maybe it could have been a bonus track. I think if you were familiar with the original, it's done very well, and I actually like Steel Panther's version more so than Cheap Trick's, but I'm not a huge Cheap Trick fan, so that's why. But, it's certainly a not safe for work type album, and not appropriate to, crank around everybody, but I guess all I can envision is some beers, some burgers, some sun, and Steel Panther just being cranked like in your backyard. You know what I mean? While you're playing like Bags or Horseshoes. It's summer metal to me, if that makes any damn sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or Cornhole.
Yeah, or Cornhole, which I'm sure Steel Panther would really like as long as they could put it there. But if you really like Steel Panther, like I said, if you like Steel Panther, you're going to love it. If you don't, you won't, and you probably never will like them, and that's okay. But if you're a Steel Panther fan, you will dig the shit out of it. I think it's a really good album, and I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Biv, what did you think of it?
I gave it exactly the same score.
Wow, 8.5 out of 10 both ways. Even though, of course, Steel Panther will let you know they don't go both ways. But anyway, that was Lower the Bar from Steel Panther. Curious your guys' thoughts. If you're Steel Panther fans and you've seen them live, let us know on our Facebook page what you thought of their live show. It's incredible. It's really good. If you haven't, shame on you. Go see them. They're going to be touring all over the frickin' place to support this album. Check it out.